So you want to get up to speed, really get a handle on something important without wading through pages and pages.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Well, that's exactly what we're doing today. We're diving deep into Nino Ricci's debut novel, A Lives of the Saints.
A really significant book.
Totally. Think of this as your quick path to understanding its core, you know? It's all about the Italian immigrant experience in Canada right after World War II.
And it's raw. Very raw, unflinching stuff. Deeply moving, too.
Absolutely. So where do we start? Maybe the setting.
I think that makes sense. What hits you immediately, I think, is just how visceral Ricci's depiction is. The poverty, the displacement.
Right, in this tight-knit Italian community, rural Ontario.
Exactly. And it's not just telling you they had it tough. You almost feel the backbreaking work. You see how cramped things were.
Yeah, you really get a sense of the huge struggle, just building a life somewhere completely new.
It underscores those challenges intensely.
And woven into all that hardship is faith, right? But it seems complex.
Oh, definitely complex. I mean, faith is clearly a source of comfort. It gives meaning when things are incredibly difficult.
Like an anchor.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
But what Ricci does so well is show how that faith is tangled up with, deep-rooted superstitions.
Ah, interesting. So it's not just simple piety.
Not at all. He avoids any kind of, romanticized view. Yeah. It's more about how these traditional beliefs and the superstitions just coexisted.
Which probably reflects them trying to make sense of it all. Old world meets new, harsh reality.
That's a great way to put it. It really shows how their sort of spiritual framework had to be resilient, adaptable under all that pressure.
Okay, and the whole story comes through the eyes of a young boy, Vittorio Innocente. That perspective feels crucial.
It really is. You're seeing everything unfold as he's coming of age, witnessing his family basically disintegrating, his mother's silent pain.
And you feel the tension building in the community, but through his, limited understanding.
Precisely. It's filtered through that childhood confusion, that vulnerability. He's trying to piece together this adult world that's shifting and often quite dark.
So using a child's viewpoint, it lets us see the impact of all this trauma, but kind of gradually, as he starts to understand more.
Exactly. It raises questions, doesn't it? Like, how do these things he sees shape him? His ideas about faith, family, where he fits in.
Yeah, definitely. But, despite all the bleakness, there are moments. Ricci brings in this quiet beauty, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's not all grim. His descriptions of the landscape, the rural setting, they're really evocative.
And you still feel those community bonds, even with the tensions, that resilience.
You do. The natural world isn't just a backdrop. It almost reflects their inner lives sometimes.
That's a nice point.
And yeah, there's friction in the community, for sure. But underneath, there's still that fundamental need for connection, especially when facing such adversity. It's very human.
So if we're boiling it down, the key takeaways seem to be about faith and hardship, that intricate dance. The immense pressure on families in that immigrant situation,
Yeah.
and seeing it all through Vittorio's eyes, that unflinching look at suffering. It's challenging.
It is challenging.
Yeah.
Rewarding, I think.
What makes it stick with you is that Ricci doesn't really offer easy answers, does he?
No, not at all.
He just presents these raw, complex experiences, and it makes you think about faith, resilience, what that whole journey means. It taps into something deep.
It really does linger. So, yeah, if you're into literary fiction that has that kind of emotional weight, it makes you think, Lives of the Saints is definitely one to pick up.
Highly recommended.
Agreed.
Which kind of leads to a final thought, maybe for our listeners to mull over. Given these themes in Lives of the Saints, faith, displacement, that raw look at life, what stories today, maybe contemporary ones, do you think offer a similar kind of unflinching perspective on the human experience when people face really big challenges?
That's a great question to leave folks with.
Something to think about. Well, thanks for taking this deep dive with us today. We hope this gives everyone a good insight into Nino Ricci's really powerful novel.